Hello viewers, you're welcome to today's segment of Time of Inspiration. I have in the studio Dr. Uzo and I'm your host, Pastor Ijeoma Ezeobele. You are welcome, Dr. Uzo.
God bless. I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to be here.
It's our pleasure.
It's a pleasure. I love it.
Viewers, he has brought something very important and something that is going to surprise each and every one of you. The topic we have today is 7 deadly sins of nutrition. And I know you all are already at the edge of the seat wondering what those 7 deadly sins are. And Dr. Uzo is here to explain each and every one of them to us. You're welcome, Dr. Uzo. Can you please explain to the viewers what 7 deadly sins of nutrition are?
I'm glad you asked.
Thank you.
Well, 7 deadly sins of nutrition are things we are doing wrong in our intakes. By that I mean food, drink, and of course our snacks. And because we don't even know that we are committing these sins.
Yes.
And why the sin is deadly is because it's like gradual death. People eat these things on a daily basis and it's chipping away on their health.
Yes.
Invariably, we're digging our own grave with our own fork and with our own food. And most things that make us sick and eventually cause degeneration and death are actually what we put in our mouth. Don't look far away to look at the cause of your problem. Look at the food you eat and the drugs, of course, that you take. Both the prescription drug and over-the-counter drug, they are all food. That's why we classify them under the Food and Drug Administration. So these deadly sins are deadly because of the problem they cause in our lives. And when you lose your health, you lose everything.
Every single thing. And I've heard that whatever sickness that is going on in somebody's body first starts in the stomach. So that goes down to what you said earlier on, that it all starts with what we consume, what we put in our own bodies. And I'm not surprised if sugar is one of them.
Well, number one is sugar. It's like you predicted it. It can be better than that. I mean, you are right on the spot. You're on the money. Well, let's just talk about sugar a little bit because, you know, we start taking candies when we are little.
Yes.
And sugar is so funny and subtle that it's actually everywhere. Candy is sugar. Milk has sugar. The milk sugar we call lactose.
Wow.
We have the table sugar, sucrose. Even fruits and vegetables have sugar. We call it, you know, fruit sugar.
Yes.
So even there are things that have been listed, including our condiments. You know, we call it seasoning like Maggi, it has sugar. Malt, they all have sugar.
Yes.
Even artificial sweeteners have sugar. It's like, man, sugar is everywhere. And number one cause of disease is sugar. Let me even break it down so that we can take it down and see if I don't explain, you will complain. One thing is this: not just the sugar, but also the sugar substitutes, the artificial sweeteners, your Sweet Low, your Splenda, your Nutri-Sweet.
So these are...
including honey.
Honey? Honey is natural.
Honey is sugar. It doesn't matter whether it's natural or not. It creates problem just like any other sugar.
Wow. Sugar
is sugar. They come in different names, in different titles, and in different guises and camouflage.
Honey, it's not the caramel sugar. You're talking about honey
is sugar. Honey is sugar. Honey has xylulose and other forms of sugar. Remember, it is the activity of bees on flower nectar, which is sugar. That's what honey is from.
Exactly.
The best honey in the world actually is not what you find in the stores. 99% of them are actually adulterated and then contaminated. The best honey is called Maluka honey and it's made in New Zealand. It's expensive.
From bees too?
Yes, from bees, but is the honey I can tell you that is good. So if only one honey is good, trust me, more than 99% of the honey out there is either adulterated. And moreover, you know, you have to be careful with anything called natural because people let bad things natural to sell
organic.
Yes, it's actually part of American commercialism and capitalism. So don't be deceived by the level. Anything that ends in OSE is a sugar.
O-S-E.
Yes, O-S-E is a
Okay.
sugar until proven otherwise.
Wow. Okay.
Xylose, fructose, mannose, mannitol, including
It's
high
not-
fructose
it's-
corn syrup. High
Is it
fructose.
like maltose?
Yes, maltose is
Is it
the
sugar?
malt sugar.
Malt sugar, yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So sugar comes in different ways, and let's even talk about why is sugar so bad?
Okay, but before we go there,
Okay.
what are the good sugars?
Quite frankly,
Where can we get?
there's really no good sugar.
Really?
Yes, sugar will not kill you immediately. That's why it's gradual and slow, deadly.
Even sugar cane, from sugar
It
cane.
doesn't matter. It's still sugar.
From fruits.
It's still sugar.
Okay.
The only thing is that we cannot get rid of sugar because even nature has sugar.
Exactly.
But the only
We
thing
need
you
it for
can
energy.
do is to, okay, let me even come to that.
Yes.
You see what she said, energy. People always think that, well, sugar gives them boost of energy.
Yes.
The thing is that it will give you a little energy and then crash you.
Okay.
Sooner or later,
It's
you want another one. And because of that, sugar is very addictive or habit forming. And it gives us what is called the sweet tooth. From there, it can cause all the gradual damage and degeneration.
Exactly.
So even though they are natural sugars, you still have to go easy on them.
On them.
You still have to take them with moderation.
Okay.
You understand? It's not supposed to be a major part of our food. It's like something that would be a condiment that you take once in a while and once in a long while.
Yes.
Even if you take sugar, for instance, in the United States, an average American takes 150 pounds of sugar a year.
That's
From
a
the
lot.
sodas to
That's
the
a lot.
candies, everything has sugar in it. Every cookie, high fructose corn syrup, is a form
Even
of sugar.
carbohydrates as a
Carbohydrate is
Yes.
sugar. The only thing is that it releases the sugar gradually,
Gradually.
because carbohydrate is complex starch or complex sugar.
yes.
The only good thing about them is that it's released gradually instead of the spikes and down and up, because they will stimulate insulin, and sooner or later people develop what is called pre-diabetes. From pre-diabetes to full-blown diabetes. Now we're even seeing children having diabetes at a young age. So the distinction between young or adult onset, juvenile diabetes,
Yes.
which is type 1, we are told, and then type 2, the one that develop in adult, maybe in their 40s, the line has been dimmed.
You see.
It's not a thin line. Because now all the manifestation of sugar, including building plaques, feeding bacteria, feeding viruses, sugar create cancer. In fact, 1 teaspoon of sugar can depress your immune system for 1 hour.
Wow.
And not only that, sugar causes cataracts,
Yes.
sugar causes constipation, sugar causes diabetes, pre-diabetes, sugar feed all the microorganisms, including parasites, worms, candida, viruses, bacteria. Sugar causes premature aging
You see.
and gray hair. Sugar causes wrinkle, what is called glycosylation, because AGE, we call it advanced glycosylation end products. What it does is that, no, you can laugh if you want to hear. What it does, I will break down the terms, because sometimes in the hospital we measure what is called hemoglobin A1C.
Exactly.
We call it glycosylation because it tells you how you control the blood sugar
sugar.
over a long haul within 2 to 3 months, unlike just the fasting blood sugar. Sometimes the fasting blood sugar can be normal,
Yes.
and yet the person is pre-diabetic because they did not check how the blood glucose has been controlled over the long haul. So that glycosylation is a grammar of saying that sugar is coating your vital nutrients, including your hemoglobin, which is the cells that carry oxygen. The white blood cells that carry oxygen is because of hemoglobin. That's why it's red. So when it coats it, the person starts aging because life is in the blood. Not only is it aging, it can also cause your minerals and vitamins to be malabsorbed.
And I know that cancer is something that strives better in when sugar is in the system so much.
Yes, why? Because sugar is very acidic.
It's very acidic.
Every sugar breaks down back to what is called pyruvic acid and lactic acid. And because sugar is too acidic,
Yes.
it will go back to your bones to draw calcium that forms your bone matrix to neutralize the acid.
Wow.
And then the kidneys will help you pee it, and it puts stress on the kidney. That's why number one cause of dialysis or renal failure today is sugar.
It's sugar.
Number two, of course, is high blood pressure because of salt.
Yes.
If you notice, the food in America is too salty and too sugary.
That brings us to the second topic. So now salt is another deadly thing.
Yes.
But let's conclude on the sugar.
Okay.
What will you tell this viewer who is diabetic on how to go about his health? Because everybody needs sugar in one way or the other, to be able to function. So what do you have for the viewer who is
Good question.
very concerned about
Oh, I'm
sugar?
glad you asked.
Yes.
Beautiful. Well, number one thing is that there is food we call high-glycemic index food.
Okay.
It's a big grammar, and I'll break it down so that you can take it down. It means that this food or this kind of sugars, when you eat them, your blood sugar rises precipitously, astronomically. So you have to avoid the sugars. What are these kind of sugars? These are what is called fast sugar. For instance, your soda. One cup of soda, let's say Coca-Cola or Sprite or orange like Fanta, has at least 9 teaspoons of sugar. So you are not just taking sugar,
That's a lot.
you are taking colored water, caramel, you are taking phosphoric acid, the thing that make it bubble, and also carbon dioxide. These are waste products. That's why if you take your soda pop, you can clean the head of your battery.
Say it again.
If you take your soda, a kind of, let's say, Coca-Cola, you can use it to clean the head of your battery.
Really?
Yes, because it's too acidic.
Wow.
And then pour Coca-Cola on your car paint. It will eat it up.
It will eat it up.
That is the way it's eroding the cells.
Stay away from sugar. Please, we've learned this topic now, and this is very shocking. That soda can eat up paint.
And that's the way it is eating gradually inside our arteries, our vessels, and our vital organs.
Wow.
And that's what causes degeneration. And from degeneration, of course, we have degenerative diseases like a lot of people are pre-diabetic, they don't even know. From pre-diabetic, they have become full-blown diabetic. And when there is sugar, blame obesity.
You see? Viewers, we are learning so far. I've learned so far myself, and we're still keeping on. And doctor already mentioned salt. Salt is another deadly sin of nutrition, and he's going to explain it further for us to understand.
Salt. We love our salt shaker, and then it makes things taste good.
These are the real taste.
So is sugar, right?
Yes.
Well, God gave
Two
us
extremes.
5 taste buds.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Sugar, salt, sour, pungency, or spicy. And then, of course, you have another taste we run away from, bitters.
Bitters, yes.
We only concentrate on sugar and salt. An appetite is not inborn, it's developed. So let's come to salt now. You see, the salt you and I use every day is actually processed salt. In other words, the salt that had been mined from the river was processed. They processed the daylight out of it, heated to a high temperature.
Yes.
And then chemicals are added on it. Let me tell you the chemicals. People don't even know that the salt they have is not only processed, but is laden with sugar, dextrose. Number one. Another thing salt has is aluminum. Aluminum has been associated with Alzheimer's. It's a kind of heavy metal that clogs the arteries. So why is aluminum added to the processed salt? Because it's anti-caking agent.
Yes.
When you mine the salt from the river, the raw salt, the sea salt, the unadulterated salt, what happens is that they tend to clump together. We call it caking. So they now add aluminum to make it spread. Now we no longer have our salt shaker, whereby that's why it's called salt shaker. The real salt we're supposed to shake it before we use it. Now you don't need to do that anymore because aluminum has been added to be an anti-kicking agent. Unfortunately, aluminium behaves like the heavy metals, is being associated with high blood pressure, Alzheimer's disease, dementia, and even cataract. So aluminium is a poison, just like lead, arsenic, cadmium, and other heavy metals. So these are the things that are in the salt we eat, and of course, all these things add together to raise the blood pressure. I don't know if you have heard that many doctors tell, especially 30% of black people who are called salt-sensitive hypertensive, not to take salt. They'll tell you, they'll tell you, well, they have high blood pressure, and that the doctors tell them to stay away from salt. Yes, the reason is because you can stay away from processed salt. The real sea salt, unadulterated, unprocessed, natural, pink sea salt, not white or bleached.
So sea salt is good.
Not all sea salt. The best sea salt is called Himalayan sea salt. There is Californian sea salt, there's Celtic sea salt, there's Mediterranean sea salt, there is Utah sea salt. There are all kinds of, even kosher sea salt and salt substitutes.
Where can these sea salts be obtained?
Well, we get it in the health food store, but make sure you read the label. The label says Himalayan sea salt.
Himalayan.
It does not raise the blood pressure. It does not cause cardiomyopathy or heart failure or heart disease or clog the arteries, because actually salt can cause stroke or brain attack independent of its risk factor as a contributing factor to high blood pressure.
Wow.
In fact, salt has been known to cause water retention and to cause So because of that, we have to be really careful about our salt intake. First, we need salt. If you don't take salt, you start having cramps.
You're right.
Because of sodium. But we need the right kind of salt.
What is the biological name or the medical term for salt, water retention?
Well, we call it edema.
Edema, yes. Edema.
Yes, when you retain water, you see the problem. This is why when people take sea salt, or rather when they drown in the river and they drink the salt, they swell up and die. Because whenever there is salt, it makes you drink more water. And when you drink more water, you will retain a lot of fluid. It will cause swelling, and the blood vessels will swell. It will narrow the aperture or the lumen of the vessel, giving the heart more pressure, more force to overcome that resistance. And the heart can overwork, the heart can fail, the blood pressure can increase. It can even cause brain attacks because of thrombosis, or the platelets start clumping together. Or it can cause thromboembolism. In other words, the thrombus or the blood clot would dislodge, and it can get into the brain and cause brain attack or heart attack or any of the attack, or what I call cardiovascular accident.
Wow.
And people can collapse just by eating salt, all this processed salt. It doesn't happen every day. And of course, another hidden form or hidden source of salt is your chips. Cookies,
contains a lot of salt.
They all have salt. In fact, there are all kinds of hidden areas. Even in the hospital, when they give you saline, it's salt. Dextrose saline is sugar and salt. So it's just everywhere.
Okay, how about iodine salt?
Well, that's a very good question. The problem is that iodine is 0.006%. It's like a drop in the bucket. I rather take my multivitamin because the RDA of iodine is 150 microgram daily. The Chinese and the Japanese who eat a lot of fish eat actually 10 times more than that. So the iodine in the sea salt doesn't do nothing. It's a drop of. In fact, people can still be taking that iodine and still have goiter and hypothyroidism.
I know. Wow. Okay.
So we need our iodine. It's very important because iodine has a hand in everything.
In everything.
From the thyroid, metabolism, body temperature regulation, to even fertility. But the problem is that the iodine in those sea salt is a drop in the bucket because they've taken away all the normal nutrients in the salt and left us with sodium chloride, which is an acid. Because by right, the normal sea salt is supposed to have 72 minerals, not just sodium chloride and processed stuff like dextrose and the potassium iodide and aluminium that they put together, which actually is chemical. And the body is not designed to run on chemicals.
Exactly. And Thank you so much for explaining
It's
so
my
much
pleasure.
on the salt and the sugar.
It's my pleasure.
And alcohol is another deadly sin.
Yeah, it is.
And you know,
It's
it
a
has
no-no.
raised so many questions. You know, some people even believe that when you take so much alcohol, you don't have toothache. So I don't know if you can explain to our viewers about this alcohol thing being one of the 7 deadly sins.
I will answer, first of all, let me answer the toothache. the truth is that alcohol is a natural solvent if you have an idea of chemistry. And when you use it for toothache, it will dull the teeth and help you receive pain relief.
Okay.
But it doesn't cure what is causing the ache, which is bacteria.
Bacteria.
In fact, number one bacteria that causes toothache is what is called Streptococcus mutans. They are also the thing that causes dental caries,
Yes.
holes in the teeth, receding gum, bleeding gum, and they also cause, root canal. So, and they cause yellowing of the teeth. We call it bacterial microfilm.
Yes.
So, alcohol can be antibacterial because we use it to clean surgical instruments and all that.
Exactly.
But really, it's not bacteria, what I call bacteria cider. It is bacteriostatic. It does the bacteria.
Okay.
Just like it does the pain. But we don't kill pain. We find out the root cause of the pain and deal with the root cause.
Deal with it.
So the root cause of toothache is resistant bacteria. In fact, there are 600 infections in the mouth alone.
Wow.
So bacteria is just one of them.
Yes.
So alcohol, even eventually, the bacteria can become resistant.
So this is just what they give as an
Yes,
excuse.
people give
and as a
excuse you
license
can
to
do
be able to
anything.
drink
Yes,
alcohol.
but alcohol
Yes.
has its own medical use, like using it to sterilize,
But
a wound and
today
all
we're
that.
talking,
It can
we're
happen.
talking about it in terms of consuming.
Yes,
Drinking.
what we, the not just the alcohol, wine, spirits,
Yes.
beer, champagne, white horse, brandy. They are all actually what sugar can do, alcohol can do, because when you ferment sugar, you get alcohol.
Yes.
See, when you ferment sugar, you get alcohol and then carbon dioxide, which will bubble out, and then the fermentation now goes to sugar. That's why when sugar, all the beers and so on, you find out you get it from malt, from barley, from wheat, because they are complex sugar carbohydrates. So when you ferment them, they give you alcohol or beer.
Alcohol. Wow.
So whatever beer, you see, we preach against
Yes.
alcohol in church, but nobody talks about sugar.
Nobody talks about sugar.
Yeah.
Okay, viewers, we have learned so much about this alcohol thing, but I know that some of you and some of us like red wine, okay? And you're wondering if red wine is good for that, whether it's good for that. Dr. Ozo is here to explain to us the benefits of red wine, if it's dangerous, and what it can actually be used for today.
Well, this is a very good
So
question.
because red wine is also
Yes.
contains alcohol.
Yes, it's a good question, and
Depending
I
on the
will
percentage.
do justice to it. You know, the question you asked me now
Yes.
is what is called the French paradox.
Wow.
The French paradox is so that the French people, they eat their sugar, they eat their fat,
Yes.
they eat their red meat,
Uh-huh.
and they enjoy and have good time, and yet they have less heart attacks than Americans who avoid or try to avoid anything alcohol. So because of that, we call it the French paradox.
Okay.
The reason they give is because of the red wine that the French eat with their bon appetit, with their 5-course menu. Because the French, they love food.
And they like to cook with it.
Yes. So what happened is that the problem is not the alcohol. The great thing is the red wine in the alcohol, what we call the proanthocyanidin or the polyphenols,
Okay.
pycnogenol. So that is what protects the people
Okay.
from eating the junk. It's not really the alcohol. alcohol will remain alcohol. In fact, we call it the polyphenols, and then everything that ends in OL is an alcohol. So it's like a good type of alcohol. It's an antioxidant. It's anti-cancer.
Yes.
It can cure things like ulcers. See, remember in the Bible, the great apostle Paul told Timothy to take a little wine for his frequent stomach infirmities. In fact, we call that timmy tummy. It's a form of gastritis. Paul can pray Paul's handkerchief heal the sick, yet he advised his pastor, Timothy, to take a little wine. It was because of the red wine. The red stuff is the super antioxidants, what we call the pro-anthocyanin, that will help cure cancer, diabetes, heart disease, stomach ache, which is what happened. Apostle Paul recommended it to Timothy. So it's not really the alcohol. That's why they call the red wine. It's the stuff that gave you the red wine. Remember, it's the same lycopene or the carotenoids, or what we call the proanthocyanidin, that also give tomato its red color. The berries, especially strawberries and blueberries, and also the carrots. That's why we get the name carotenoids. And also red orange, grape, watermelon. Those things that give rise to that red color, including red palm oil, is actually the same thing that give us the healing property, and then contrast in the French paradigm. Why the French eat junk food and all that, and still have less heart attack. It's also protect is the heart friendly, protect the cardiovascular system and circulation.
Awesome. So how about beers?
Well, beer is fermented from barley or wheat or grains. Actually, most of the beer came from grain, like I told you, through fermentation. It's still the same thing as alcohol. Alcohol comes in different forms and shapes, really. And then you might also ask me, is the same thing that happened to, like, when we're talking about sugar? I told you what alcohol can do. Sugar can also do, because it's just the OH through fermentation. Well, the same thing with the what do you call it, the aspartame. I think we call it the diet sodas.
The diet soda.
Yes. And that's why they don't put it outside, if you notice. The reason is that if you take it outside, the air, the heat, the sun
can make it explode,
would decompose it into formaldehyde and wood alcohol, ethanol. That's where I'm coming from. So you have your aspartame or Diet Coke, and you think it's better.
It's not better.
No, because it will decompose into alcohol and formalin or formaldehyde, the stuff they use to burn the dead body and all that. So because of that, you cannot see Diet Coke and all those outside. No, they had to put it because of the chemistry, because of what happened. So the same thing they do is exactly the same thing the beer does. And that's why I mentioned that it's very, very important. You see, alcohol can cause anything.
It can.
In fact, it's called the demon in a bottle.
Oh no.
You know why? From having accidents or being accident prone to social embarrassments. It removes your inhibition. In other words, some private thing you're not supposed to talk about. Once you drink it, you start letting out all your secret and everything. And also alcohol makes you fight. Ordinarily, people who are not violent, once they drink, they can become violent. They can even commit suicide, homicide, can get involved in a fight, altercation. So alcohol has so many disadvantages that no true child of God should touch alcohol. You remember what Solomon called Lemuel by his mother Bathsheba. He said he's not given to kings to take strong drinks. And then women, of course, the mother was advising him, and of course Solomon loved to party, and that's what brought him down. You see, he thought as the wisest man. So the same advice, alcohol can cause anything. Alcohol can take away your B complex and make you malnourished. Yes, alcohol can take away, because whatever sugar can do, alcohol can do. In fact, it's not just now. When you are getting old, you start trembling. And become frail. Because alcohol can, remember, it kills brain cells.
It does.
And brain controls everything.
Yes.
Virtually, brain controls everything. So when the brain cell is dead, your cognition is gone. You are not thinking right. You are not thinking straight. Exactly. You start doing things you don't want to do, and all that. And the social consequences too, because when people drink, they tend to drink away their money, their life, their future, their destiny.
Thank you very much, Doctor. If we dwell on this alcohol thing today, we are not going to get over it.
Okay.
All right. Thank you
want
so
us to
much.
move to the next?
The next topic is meat. I know that meat is something that is very dangerous.
Not even mentioned.
Especially the red meat. Yes. Can you please explain to our viewers about meat, what meats that are healthy and the ones that are not?
Let me tell you the gospel truth.
Yes.
Anything that can move around, has a mama, has a face, it's an animal.
Wow.
It doesn't matter whether it's red meat, yellow meat, green meat, white meat, Congo meat. It doesn't matter the name.
Yes.
Now God warned us, told us the type of meat, including fish. Fish is animal flesh.
I know.
Don't forget.
Yes.
God told us not to eat things like catfish, tilapia. In fact, the whole Leviticus 11 told us what kind of animal to eat and what not to eat.
Exactly.
The problem with meat is not just that it is too acidic, but the meat in America is full of hormones, antibiotics, because these animals get sick, and 45% of antibiotics produced in this country is given to meat or cow and chicken so that they won't get sick and the farmers suffer loss. So at the end of the day, they breed cancer. And meat has 10 times greater risk when you consume them than when you compare them to fruit and vegetable.
Okay.
And people don't like fruit and vegetable, quote unquote, because it doesn't taste that good. Now, you are telling me about different kinds of meat. The truth is that the good ones are the good, especially if they are not spread with hormones and antibiotics, and they are not fed with genetically engineered corn.
Wow.
Because goat is allowed to roam around.
Okay.
People ask me, but Jesus Christ ate lamb, he ate goat. I say yes, but the goat and lamb he ate grass.
That's right.
So, but now it's a different ballgame altogether, and people are talking about cancer. In fact, I've tried it several times. There was a guy that had prostate cancer, and then we stopped meat, and then the PSA was like 297, about 300 PSA. By that, it means prostatic specific antigen. We use it as cancer marker.
Exactly.
So what happened is that within 6 weeks, we brought down the PSA from 300 to 100 and something.
Wow.
He started eating meat. That week he started eating meat. The PSA jumped up from 100 and something to nearly 600.
That's great.
In less than 2 weeks when he started eating meat.
Wow.
So when you are normal, you will not feel anything because your body protects you. Actually, that's why we're supposed to eat fruit and vegetable, because the Bible said the life of man depends on plants.
Right.
In Deuteronomy 20:19. But the thing is that the plants protects you. See, when you eat plants, the plants stay outside. They go through humidity, bad weather, rain, sun, microorganisms, fungus. They go through grazing animals. So when you eat the fruit and vegetable, you get the protection they have. But when you eat meat, you don't get that same protection. Wow. So you see, I don't just tell you not to eat meat because I'm not a vegetarian.
Yes.
But I will also tell you to take a lot of fruit and vegetable to protect yourself, including palm oil. So when you protect yourself, it becomes better. That's why a lot of people who eat a lot of meat age too fast. The reason is that if you want to stay fresh, minimize flesh and eat fresh fruit and vegetable.
Awesome.
That's my slogan.
Awesome.
So, why I'm saying this is that somebody will go away and say, oh, wow, the miracle doctor is saying we shouldn't eat meat, but he eats meat. Yes, because I know how to protect myself.
Good.
And I know the type of meat to eat. And then don't eat too much meat. Let it be part of your condiment, because we eat way too much meat. That is the problem.
Yes.
And meat makes you to age because it's also too acidic. And when it's too acidic, to neutralize the acid, the body goes back to your bones to borrow calcium and your teeth. And meat can also create inflammation because it's acidic. And when the body is inflamed, guess what? Another problem. You begin to suffer pain. You begin to suffer degeneration, aches. You begin to have degenerative diseases. And then also meat has no fiber and has no phytonutrients. It's not packaged in protective, vitamins, which plants have.
Exactly.
So when you start eating meat, you can start having constipation, cholesterol problems, problem with the heart, can block the heart, problem with the brain, problem with your circulation, and then also problem with your cognition. So it's not that meat is bad, but we have to really eat it with moderation, and also avoid meats that have been sprayed. The more organic, the better.
Exactly. You mentioned about fish earlier on as being part of meat.
Okay. Yes. Animal flesh.
So animal flesh. Thank you very much. Tell me about mercury and fish.
Well, mercury. Good question. Tilapia.
Yes.
And catfish. Okay. They are the fishes that eat other fishes.
Okay.
And God also warned us in the Bible not to eat them because they don't have fins.
They don't have fins.
Yes, and when you don't have fins, according to Leviticus 11, God told us what type of fish to eat and what not to eat. God is still wiser than all our scientists.
Exactly.
So what happens is that when you eat those, they are full of mercury.
Okay.
And mercury has been known to raise blood pressure. Mercury has been known to cause blockage in the brain. It has known to cause infertility. It has even known to remove your energy and cause oxidation of the tissues. And also mercury, the body doesn't know what to do with a heavy metal like mercury. A heavy metal is a metal that is 5,000 times higher than the density of water. And because of that, they will stay in the body. They will start causing free radical oxidation. They will start causing acidity. They start bogging down the cells. The cell doesn't know what to do and how to eliminate them unless you do chelation to remove them out of the system. Unfortunately, mercury is also used as fillings by a lot of dentists who are not trained in nutrition. And it can seep into the body, cause heart disease, heart attack, high blood pressure, and then of course stroke and organ failure. Yeah, because they cause oxidative phosphorylation, they mess up your energy machinery.
So does salmon fish have mercury too?
It has mercury, but it's not as bad as that of catfish or tilapia. Exactly. So, but salmon still is the best. But remember, not from fish farms.
Okay.
Don't forget. Let it be wild caught. Because fish farm, you always use chemical to raise those fishes in the pond.
To raise them. Thank you so much, Dr. Uzo. I know that we have heard so much about milk. This milk is healthy, this type of milk is not healthy. The milk with lactose, the one without lactose. Whole milk, 1%, 2%. Can you please explain to the audience and the viewers about milk and how it is one of the 7 deadly sins that we're talking about today of nutrition?
Right from when we are little, after breast milk, the next thing is to give us the cow milk. Well, or what we call formula, infant formula, or Cerelac that lacks everything. Well, the best food is mother's milk, at least for the first year of life. Cow milk is actually meant for cow, not humans.
Really?
Yes. We are the only animal that even as adults, we still drink milk of another animal. And I call it the deadly poison. In fact, milk is liquid meat.
Wow.
It's been associated with diabetes, with leukemia, with infection, because the milk you are seeing has too many bacteria, including pus.
Including?
Pus.
Pus.
Pus is the stuff that comes out from a boy when you squeeze it. Milk is full of that. Yes, milk is full of that.
Wow.
And they have a kind of safe level by FDA. But of course, there's no safe level of poison. and toxin. So milk is also acidic and it's also sugary. And these animals are raised with hormones and antibiotics. Don't forget to plant-based milk like almond milk.
How about soy milk?
Soy milk has been known to cause cancer.
Okay.
Don't you know that the advertisement about soy has gone down?
It has gone down.
Because it's been associated with
okay.
infertility, breast cancer,
wow.
prostate cancer, colon cancer. So the advertisement of soy, everything about soy has really gone down because they begin to find out that even men have started developing breasts, and then people of aged children, I mean,
wow.
People, 30% of couples now cannot conceive.
So because of milk?
Partly because of that, because it creates cancer and it can also create infertility.
Oh no.
So you don't want to mess with soy anymore. You know, and that's why the soybean association and everything, everything about them is going down, and the ad about soy and soy milk has also gone down. For people have been known to take soy milk, and what they are taking is estrogen. Okay. And estrogen has been known as a hormone of carcinogen that can cause anything. 95% of women cancers are because of estrogen.
Wow. From
breast cancer to uterine cancer to endometriosis to menstrual irregularity, soy can create pain, can create anything in a woman's body. And now it's been started having the same effect in men. Men are now having low sperm count and all that, and they don't even know it's because of soy.
Yes.
Including animals. Fed with soy, you know, bean and all that. See, soy has really gotten a bad rap, and rightly so, because of the cancer association.
So the alternative done is almond
milk is excellent.
Is it affordable?
Yeah, it's very affordable. It's like half a gallon is like $2.
Okay, awesome.
$2 to $3, and I've been using it. Sometimes I even use the soy milk to make ice cream, like banana strawberry ice cream.
Okay.
I blend it together, add soy milk, and then put it in a deep freezer, and then bring it out, and it's plant-based.
Yes.
Ice cream instead of milk. Remember, milk. Why I'm discussing this is ice cream is also milk. Don't forget.
Yes.
Ice cream. We call it ice. You know, we call it ice cream. We call it cream, but you know it's milk. Yes. Don't forget.
I'm just so grateful and thankful for today, because I have learned so much, and I know that our viewers out there are learning as well. So and we know that cheese is made from milk too.
Yes, cheese, yogurt, butter, sauerkraut, kefir. Yes. They are all products. We call them dairy products. Really.
Yes.
But let me warn you, even though dairy is bad, something that is good is butter, organic butter.
Organic butter.
The reason is that butter is loaded with nutrients that I can't ignore it. Butter has vitamin A, it has vitamin D, it has chromium, it has selenium, it has many other, including B complex, that I can't ignore butter, and it's only 10% of saturated fat.
So in other words, butter is...
The body needs balance.
The butter is healthier than margarine.
Not only healthier than margarine, but it's loaded with nutrients. Margarine can clog your artery and increase cholesterol, and even cause high blood pressure, heart disease, and circulatory failure. But butter will not do that, even though it's an animal product. Both of them are saturated fat, but butter is loaded with nutrients I cannot ignore. Sometimes we need balance.
Wow, okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Ozo. Because of time, I have 2 more points here. I think I've raised 5.
Yes.
And the 6th one is coffee.
Oh, wow.
Can we just, please walk within
Okay.
Coffee, people think that coffee is good, and some people think it's not. And of course, we've all heard so many things about coffee. And Dr. Ozo is here to explain to us again about this coffee thing that is going on, so that he can clarify all those things for us.
Let me come down here real quickly. Coffee, do you know, is world's greatest beverage?
World's greatest.
More than water. People even consume coffee more than water. Even in church, people take coffee break. In offices, the same thing. You have coffee stand, coffee maker, and all that. People, break bread before coffee. So coffee is big, and it's big news, and it's big money.
Okay.
Well, let me answer your question methodically, because I have to break it down so that we can take it down.
Exactly.
One of the things about coffee is that there are different kinds of coffee.
Okay.
See, there is the green coffee, which we can now use now to lower blood pressure, to lose weight,
yes,
to balance the body chemistry, modulate the immune system. Okay. So green coffee is excellent. Remember, they are all from the bean family. It's coffee bean.
Yes.
Okay. Now, you can also take coffee in moderation. If you take 1 cup a day or 2 or 3 cups in a week, that's not a problem. The problem is the addiction. See, don't get carried away or addicted to anything except Jesus Christ.
That's right.
Say, anytime there's addiction, it becomes a spiritual problem.
That's right.
So, let me explain things about coffee. First of all, coffee is damn too acidic. I will tell you why. Not only is it a stimulant, not only is it acidic, don't forget that there's a drug behind coffee. Even though it's a legal drug, we call it caffeine.
Yes.
And because it's a stimulant, it makes you pee. It's also a diuretic.
Okay.
Now, when it is a stimulant, it will release stress hormones like cortisol, adrenaline, noradrenaline.
Yes.
And then also stimulate the brain.
The brain.
People want to use coffee to stay awake, but they will stay awake and useless.
Thank you so much, Dr. Uzo. Time is not on our side.
All right.
And I need to finish this up before the time is up.
All right.
Processed grain, wheat bread,
yes,
oats. Can you please explain to the audience and the viewers about processed grain?
Amen.
How it's now one of the 7 deadly sins.
Well, 7 deadly sins is that bleached or processed grain can cause anything.
Yes.
Anything meat can cause. Processed grain is also toxic to the human species.
Wow.
Number 1 is wheat. Now, wheat comes in different ways, in different forms and different shapes. Bagel is wheat, is bread.
Yes.
Donut is bread. Cake is wheat. Cookies is made of wheat.
Yes.
Now, if you sandwich is bread.
It's bread.
Breadstick pizza is bread. The dough is bread. Now look at the problem. 3 deadly things. The wheat contains what is called gluten.
Yes.
And gluten causes high sensitivity. You know, we talk about gluten-free bread.
Okay.
So it's the protein in wheat that causes hypersensitivity reaction and celiac syndrome and leaky gut syndrome and malabsorption, and you begin to absorb bad nutrients. And that thing that is in the wheat or in the bread, more so your bleached bread, is
sorry, Dr. Uzo, I'm so sorry to cut you. Viewers, you have learned so much today. I have learned as well. The 7 deadly sins of nutrition brought to us today by Dr. Uzo to the station, to the TV, Shepherd's TV network. I am very much sure that you are following this program and you are very interested in this. If you need further information about this, especially about the 2 last topics that we kind of rushed through, Dr. Uzo's information will be scrolling down the screen. So please feel free to get in touch with him, his email address, his phone number, and he'll be very glad to teach you and to help you in any way possible that you need help. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching us today. My name is Pastor Ijeoma Ezeobele, the host of your show, Time of Inspiration. We're looking forward to having you come back and view us next time we come on board. God bless you all. Thank you for watching. We thank God for viewers like you all the time. Thank you so much, Dr. Uzo.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Thank you.
It's my pleasure.
Yes.
Thank you very much.